Welcome back to Aces High Gamers. Phoenix here, where I feel it's time for a What We Know video for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Just recently, Streets of Rage 4 has crossed its 1-year anniversary mark, and a lot of the news coverage from Dotemu has been regarding that as well as its DLC. Also, there's been a lot of people online who have posted What We Know videos about Shredder's Revenge, but most of them seem to only be going over the Steam page, the Twitter, etc., etc. I'm actually going to try to take a little bit more of a deep dive into some of the things that are known and possibly speculative about the game upon its release. But without further ado, let's get started. First, I'd like to start off with getting some more of the obvious information out of the way with a screen grab here from Dotemu's official Twitter page back on April 14th when they released the second trailer for the game. Opening of the tweet states that they're lean, they're green, and coming to Nintendo Switch. So we do have at least one console confirmed for the release for the game. Whether it is digital or physical, I will touch on that in just a little bit. Second set of screenshots here. On the left-hand side is the fact sheet from the press kit from Dotemu's website for the game, confirming also a PC and Nintendo Switch release, but no official release date just yet. The middle and right-hand side screenshots come from the Steam page for the game, and one thing I did want to point out is where it says online co-op. It is not specifying whether it is 2 players or 4 players. Now, one of the biggest problems I had with the recent released Battletoads modernized game was that, as far as I can remember, it did not support online co-op whatsoever. Same thing with Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage 4 supported 3 players locally, but it only supported 2 players online. That was another big problem I had with that game. Shredder's Revenge really does need to be 4-player online co-op. Games like this are best served with a bunch of friends. 4-player online co-op is a must for this game. Next up, our information is coming from the official Discord page for Shredder's Revenge. We have a lot of people asking about the release date for the game, and a response from a JF Major, which I can assume based off of the press kit that's on Dotemu's website, is a Jean-Francois Major, I hope I pronounced that right. Lead Programming is his title. And he's stating that there is no date just yet to announce and that they still have quite a bit of work ahead of them. This is, of course, back on March 10th. Next up, we've got some information from Yannick Belzil. He had stated in the Discord that he's the screenwriter and sometimes the storyboard artist. Now, this is also before the confirmed release for the Nintendo Switch, so bear that in mind. He's basically saying that we have to let X console tell you if they have our game. They can't say it that for themselves. The only solid information we have with regards to the release date for the game is that it is coming out at some point here in 2021, barring any kind of delays. He's also talking about, as for a physical release, we would love that, so it's safe to assume that this is going to start off as a digital-only release, both for PC on Steam and Switch. We've got some other questions with regards to playable characters, so he states, and quote, as for playable characters, it's the 4 turtles. We get that people want more, but we've done a lot of work giving each turtle their own animations rather than palette swapping one turtle sprite with different weapons. Their different run cycles from the trailer is one part of just how they vary. With regards to the PC release for the game, we have a user asking if a NVIDIA GTX 960 is really necessary based off of the Steam requirements. A user from Tribute by the name of Coconut responds saying that he can't say for the finished product, but the current version of the game is running on his 6-year-old laptop with a GTX 860M. Now, I'm not too versed with video graphics cards, and he's also not stating whether or not it's 1080p, 1440, 60, or 30 frames per second, but the fact that he can run the game on a 6-year-old laptop is pretty good. Next up, Yannick answers some questions with regards to certain characters, whether or not they will or will not show up in the game. He does mention that they have to abide by a list that was given to them by Nickelodeon, which does have a ton of characters on it. I'm going to sit there and assume that if it's part of the 87 license, there's a chance that they will. He also talks about their passion at Tribute and Dotemu for the 87 license, and also talks about whether or not cameo characters or obscure characters could be added, but he does say that it will take away from the resources for making important parts of the game. Somebody also asks if there will be a playable Jenica, and while she's not part of the 87 license, Yannick did petition for it, but was ultimately turned down. On the topic of guest characters, Yannick says that it would be cool. The Turtles do have a lot of animations, so guest characters would also need the same level animation, and it's a lot of work. He would think that the game has to be an enormous hit for this type of situation to happen. So a user flat out asks him if the game sells well enough, would it be a possibility? And he does say maybe, but he wouldn't know the number to hit in terms of sales numbers to get the green light for guest characters. Continuing with animation, we have Coconut responding to a praise from a member of the Discord, and he also says that he hopes we enjoy other animations for the Turtles that have yet to be revealed, which is really great news to know that there's going to be additional animations and additional details for these characters that we have yet to see. Another one is asking if there's going to be any kind of compensation for Raphael's short reach. Coconut responds by saying that he had just recorded a super OP combo, but he can't share it with us. So it's great to know that he's going to be getting some extra love for his short reach. It's really good news for me as well, because I'm a huge Raphael fan. Another member asking if Leo is going to be one of the best characters in the game, with Coconut responding saying that the Playable Characters designer's favorite is Leonardo as well, so he's going to be getting some love gameplay-wise. But then he says that Mikey needs to get up to speed with the other Turtles, so I'm pretty sure that Michelangelo is going to need some buffs based on the current build that they're working on. The next person is asking how long it happened to take with each turtle in terms of animation and such. Coconut goes into a bit of a description that goes into what it takes to animate the characters, but basically he says that it's kind of hard to give a number for each turtle. Next up, I actually had the pleasure of speaking with Yannick on the Discord for a couple of messages. First, I asked why the decision for Michelangelo to use one nunchuck versus two. I know people in the comments in my previous video were asking about this as well. He was basically saying that it makes it a little bit easier to animate one weapon versus two. Also, later in the conversation, not pictured, a couple of members were saying that it's more efficient to use one nunchuck versus two. I was only making mention of it considering the '87 cartoon as well as some of the video games back in the '90s. Michelangelo was indeed using two versus one, but I understand the logic behind it. Next up, I actually asked about 4-player online co-op, which I mentioned earlier in this video is a big concern of mine, and if there was any other kind of details that he could reveal for us. And basically he's saying he didn't want to reveal anything, he wants to keep the hype up, but did mention he did take a look at my video and thought it was pretty thorough. And considering that I'm a new YouTuber, it was very flattering to know that a creator of the game actually took the time out to watch my video, and I really appreciate that. Really, really cool. And then I basically responded with a thank you. And I did make a mention that the co-op question was being pushed aside. Again, it's a very big concern of mine. Yannick, if you do end up watching this video, please, please, please bring it up to the higher-ups that this game really needs 4-player online co-op. I know me and a lot of different players really want 4-player online co-op. Next on the agenda is the idea of color or palette swaps. We've got some great examples created by Discord users, Slash over here on the left, and Koshe over on the right. They utilize different influences from various different mediums and different eras that the Ninja Turtles happen to be a part of. Some of you may recall playing the home release of Turtles in Time on the SNES, for example. In the options menu, you had a choice to select either animation or comic for the color schemes for the Ninja Turtles. It was a great little addition, and some of us are hoping that this might be implemented into Shredder's Revenge. We've got Yannick responding to Koshe over here that if there's ever a discussion implementing something like this, he's going to run it up the flagpole. Here we have Yannick responding to another Discord user on the topic of different skins, and while it's not part of his department, it is not in the plans for the game at this current time. A little while later, Coconut responding to another user says that he can't guarantee anything, but loves the idea, and he hints that he may have tried the comic palette swap as a test in the game already. So the idea of different skins or different palette swaps may be a possibility, but at this point, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, some people seem to think that palette swaps or different colors or different skins is just as easy as coloring up a new skin in a new file and switching it over, and it's actually not as simple as some people might think. He states that some of the actual sprites may need to go through what's known as palette cleaning. Basically, the colors will swap incorrectly depending on the animation. Now, it's nothing that they can't fix, but it's going to take a little bit of time if they do decide to implement different palettes or different skins for the Turtles. Next, I just wanted to briefly touch upon what Prowler over here in the Discord happened to point out with regards to his arcade cabinet versus what he saw in the Shredder's Revenge trailer. He says that the trailer shows the character placement is a little bit different from the arcade beat 'em up, And Coconut goes on to respond that the characters will be in order from left to right as 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's not going to be character specific. So it doesn't matter whether you jump in as the first player or the fourth player, you still get to choose whichever turtle you decide you want to play with. Lastly, I'd like to go over a detail that I actually happen to miss in my breakdown that was brought up by another user here in Discord by the name of Soma Daydream. I'm going to jump back and forth left and right here, starting on the top left-hand side from the original animated trailer. You got Raphael jumping on top of a vehicle here. Over on the right-hand side from the gameplay trailer, you see it broken up into pieces. Back over on the left-hand side, it looks very similar to the vehicle that Bebop is driving in Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. Back over on the right, we get confirmation from Yannick that it is called the Turtle Tenderizer 4x4, which happens to be an unreleased toy that they were allowed to put into the game, and they are super excited for that. With the screenshot enlarged, it actually is a little difficult to read the description, but I'm going to try my best for all of you. It says the Foot Clan's making turtle soup with this monster mutant 4x4. This push-activated low-rider style truck is equipped with oversized road turtle tires, extra ooze fuel tank, shredding hubs, TV tune-in antenna, and rear-rotating exhaust machine guns. It even has turtle dice handcuffs in front to take those turtle teens for a joyride into sewer sidewalls. You get a look at the vehicle over here on the left-hand side with Bebop hanging out the side, giving everybody the good old thumbs up. And that's going to do it for this What We Know video for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Phoenix out.